Welcome back, everyone. I'm Zell, and today we're getting a look at the Bestech Zen. The Bestech Zen, guys, is one of those small knives that Bestech is just doing right. So let's get a look at it. We got a closed length of 3.24, a handle thickness of 0.42, and a short closed height of 0.81. And look at the anodization there. And I've been carrying this thing or quite a bit actually. So it's got a little bit of marking on it because I throw it down in a pocket. I don't put it on a clip or clip it in my pocket. But their anodization game is high. I mean, look at what they've done here. This is some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And it's just nice. Now, problems with these little knives. Now, Bestech, best I know, is still, I have not disassembled this guy yet. I'll get there, and we will do a what's inside, of course. But from what I understand, they're still using their free spinning pivot, which I don't care for. It hasn't caused me a problem, to be honest, in the Bestech knives, but there are just better ways to do it. And while we're here, let's get this guy open, get a quick look there, and then we'll do some size comparison. And size comparison, what are we going to compare this guy to? Well, we've got a couple of smaller knives up here. Let's see what we can do. There is a lion steel round head, which is basically your normal jack pattern. There's a Kaiser Feist, and we'll get out our couple of our standards here. We'll get our Rat Model 2. This is the smaller Rat. And we'll even throw the Rat Model 1 up here just for fun. And, of course, our Spyderco Delica, if I can keep from dropping it. There we go. That knife is small. We have an overall length of 5.37. So, it is a small knife for sure. And let's get a look at this blade while we got it out here. We got a slab of S35VN. It is swedged across the top very nicely. No terribly sharp corners on it, which is good in my opinion. It's got a belt finish that is very reflective. Not quite mirror polished, of course, as you can see, but very reflective. And it is a fingerprint magnet. Now, we do have Zen marked on this side, S35VN marked on this side, and the Bestech logo over here. Not terribly logoed up, and no logos whatsoever on the outside of the knife. So for you guys that think that everything's got to be vanilla, there you go, there it is. Absolutely vanilla. Now, nice touches. We have, there's our number on it. What is that? 39 of 150. And that back spacer creates our lanyard hole. And our lanyard hole's big enough to get some cord through on this little bitty knife. So that is pretty freaking cool. We've got a collar around the pivot. Golden color, very nice. I like it. I like those collars like that around your standard stainless pivots. And speaking of that, let's get our T6 out, and let's see what they're doing with the screws on this one. Well, there you go. They're doing a darn good job. I don't know who they're getting their screws from. There is some variability in Bestech screws, but for the most part, they seem to be tighter than average. And that means that they're like a B+, A- as far as screws go. Maybe even higher because they're using stainless screws. Now, this is just flat screwdriver as far as getting the pivot apart, so no problems there. Very well done on the screws, and very well done on that blade. They have executed the sharpening choil very well. Those little swedges are very nicely done. Everything on the blade, in my opinion, is very nicely done. This is a very classy looking little folder. And from here, we'll go to our pause and read card, and I'll be right back with you. All right, mechanically on this guy, what do we get? Well, you get everything you get in a large knife. We have a ceramic bearing, ceramic detents, hardened steel backing washers, and a hardened steel insert. And there you go. It's built like a full-size knife. You know, it's not built like a small knife like many companies will do. It's well centered and the action works good. The detent is maybe a smidge soft if it was a full-size knife, but being such a small knife, it's not. You can, you know, push button this guy. If you can get your hands around it, you can light switch it. And it really does better at being push buttoned. Now, it does not have a secondary opening method because that blade lays down in there nice and low to keep this thing as small as possible. So, very nice. Now, it does have a pocket clip, so we're going to get the pants out, or the Levi's out, and we're going to stick it in the pocket just to see. I have not carried it like this. I mean, maybe somebody would, but I'm not going to. But if you are going to, there we go. Sits down in the pocket pretty nice. Keeps your lanyard hole up above. And, you know, will it go all the way down? Yeah, it's a little bit tight on that cuff in the Levi's, but I think it'd be fine. And it does have a fair amount of room under there. So, you know, well done on the pocket clip for such a small knife. And ergonomics. We'll back the camera back out there a little bit. Ergonomically, this is a 3-finger affair for me. You know, Frankie, it might be a 4-finger affair, but for me, it's a 3-finger affair. And you know, you can do whatever you need to do with a small knife with it. And that's the deal here. This is a secondary knife, a small knife, something to put in your left pocket, unless you're in one of those places where you need it. Because, you know, the blade is only 2.1 inches long. It's a pretty small blade. Stock thickness is about 0.1 or about 2.5 millimeters, and our grip length is only 2.65. So it is a small knife in every sense of the word, and overall, to me, that's a great deal. Because a lot of times I like to carry a small knife, and whenever I want a small knife, I want a small knife that works like it should. And that's what Bestech has done with all of their small knives. They haven't made them so small that they're useless, like, say, that Reich Hummingbird, which is essentially, for anybody with medium, large, or bigger hands, is just pointless as far as use. I mean, it could be done, but it'd be just silly. For anybody from small hands up through medium, large, you're going to be in good shape with this. Even some of the guys with large hands, for those light tasks that these small knives are actually intended for. Now, you're not going to go out and, you know, build yourself a campsite with this thing. That's just ludicrous. But it is set up to be that gentleman's carry, that float in your pocket knife. Even though it has a pocket clip, the pocket clip is on there basically so that you've got something to hold on to flip the knife open, and something covering part of that lock bar so that you don't put your fingers on the lock bar and create a problem opening the knife. And see there, I missed a flip, so I was freaking pushing down over here. But there you go. It is, well, let's try to sum it up. It is a beautiful knife. The anodizing work that Bestech is doing is close to amazing. They're doing a great job with that. Doing a great job with blade finishes. They're using good materials, and they're using some of the better stainless steel screws that I've seen. My only gripe with them is their free spinning pivots and using, you know, like a flat screwdriver type thing in the pivot. I would so much rather see Torx there, but, you know, what do you do? We have star screws on some, free spinning pivots with flat screwdriver recesses in them. Torx would be so much better on both of those accounts, and one company is moving to Torx. Maybe Bestech will too. Only time will tell there. But that's my only complaint with this knife. Other than that, it's a well-built little knife at a size that makes it easy to carry as a secondary option or something to hand out. Somebody says, well, I need to borrow a knife. Well, instead of pulling out whatever you've got in your right pocket, you can pull this guy out And most people aren't going to be scared of it. They're just going to use it to cut up their apple. And, you know, it's small. It's not going to cut up the apple in one slice. But take care of their cheese or whatever they're doing there in the office or wherever you're at. And you're not going to freak them out. And you're not going to have to hand them a ridiculously expensive knife. However, this is a knife that is not super cheap. The MSRP on it's $135, and the price on it on the street is just over $100. So if you want that, you're going to have to pay for it. But really, I'm not seeing that it isn't worth what they're asking. Because if you go down the scale from that price on a small knife, you usually get knives that aren't centered, have crappy blade steel, do not have actions like their big brothers, and do not have materials like their big brothers, and that is not what you get here. And as you can see, that detent is just a wee bit soft, but you know, I don't know. I don't think it's really a problem. But anyhow, guys, that is my opinion of the Bestech Zen. It is a cool little knife. I'll be carrying this guy. I think some guys are wanting to look at it, so it'll be making the rounds for the other reviewers, and that is cool too. Like to see what their opinions are of it. So you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.